Friends, so let's talk about retirement and what I mean by retiring, because my inclination, I think there might be some misconception of what I'm talking about when I'm talking about retirement, or quitting your crappy old job. Maybe both those things, and I want to put it in context. And so when I talk about quitting your crappy old job and or retirement, what I mean by that is you're in some kind of job that pays the bills, but you don't like it. And we know for a fact that there's many people who are in some kind of job that pays the bills, but they don't like. In fact, they've done surveys on that, and something like 60 to 70% of the people can't stand their job, even hate it, and that's just sad. And so that's what I'm saying when I say quit your crappy old job. Is I say get out of that. That's causing you. It's just a waste of energy. It's negative energy, actually. It's hurting you because you hate something that you have to do to pay the bills. And I'm saying that's where I'm talking about quit your crappy old job. I don't mean like you're not making any money. I'm just, look at me letting people go because that's what I do, because I'm a nice guy. I'm just saying that you say, okay, I'm going to find something that brings me enjoyment to my life. And hopefully that earns an income too. So let me give an example for my YouTube channel. I made enough money in YouTube last month to pay the mortgage, and that's fantastic. Is that going to be enough to pay all the food and everything? No, it won't be. Could it be next year? Well, I certainly hope so. And if it's not, then I'll still do my YouTube channel, but I'll go dig ditches. Or in this case, my wife went back to work. I mean, we don't know. But the liberation of not being that crappy old job, I'm actually, guess where I'm at, just as an FYI. You got it, just dropped my girl off at Georgia Tech again. Yeah, because when you have braces and you got to go back and forth to your orthodontist, orthodontist, is that what it's called? Orthodontics, yeah. You're back and forth because she just got her braces off. Now she had to get her retainer thing. And I'll be back here on Friday doing the same thing. The life of a stay-at-home dad. Anyway, so there we go. So what I'm saying is when you're quitting your crappy old job, saying, look, you say, okay, I'm in a job that I despise. I know I need to make some income. Maybe you got enough money saved, like I did. I had enough money where I felt I could take a risk. I had enough money put aside where I felt like I could take a risk in order to have enough income coming in to pay the mortgage, pay the bills, even though I was taking out my money from my 401k. And I was even taking out income. I had to pay income tax on it. But if you don't have any income, you don't have much of an income tax. Now, it's still a 10% penalty, don't get me wrong. But, at the end of the day, the 10% penalty was essentially the income tax that we had no income. And so the last year, the amount of money I took out from my 401k IRA basically was minimal. Oop, cops coming. Let me put the phone right there, because in Georgia you can't have your phone in while you're driving in your hand. So the amount of income tax was minimal. It essentially is my penalty. It's the penalty I had for taking money out of my 401k. And so what I mean by that, if you have a crappy old job that you can't stand, and you're like, look, I got some money saved up aside, but I don't want to leave my crappy old job because I need the income, well, maybe you say, I'm going to take a risk. Worst case scenario is you take a risk. This is actually a guy, I listened to a guy named Alan Moore. I'll never forget this. And Alan runs the XY Planning Network, of which I was a part of, and I've since relinquished my membership for maybe some other time we'll get into it. But I always liked the way he put this. He says, I knew if I started a business and it failed in terms of financial planning, I could go work for another financial planning firm. No one would say, oh, I can't hire you because you're a failed entrepreneur. And that meant a lot to me, actually, the way he put that. I knew I have a skill set that some financial planning firm will find valuable and they'll hire me. No one's going to say, oh, no, don't want anything to do with you, Josh, because you tried to be a financial planner on your own and it failed. That'll never happen. Now, for me, I'm never going back to the industry because I got rid of all my licenses. Like I said, at some point, I'll probably drop my CFP just because I find it, I'm done with it. If this doesn't work, I'll still continue to write books. I'll still continue to do a YouTube channel, but I'll do something completely different in terms of real life job if this doesn't work. But we'll see. I'm not anywhere near that at this stage. But for me, it's like, I quit my crappy old job, meant rely on my savings. Thankfully, I have a wife who's supportive, and see how things shake out. I said I'll give myself 2 years time, and so this is year number 2 now, and we'll see how things shake out. And if I'm broke, then I know it failed. But I'll have at least the understanding that I tried and I'll feel good about that, even if I blow through all my money. Because I've always known that, man, we've already got 208 fatalities this year in Georgia on the road. Man, that's just sad. I mean, 208 people just going to work, going to driving down to Disney World or something like that, who died and just didn't make it home. Jeez. It's only March, man. It's just horrible. That's why you gotta look at your remember in Back to the Future, they said, Marty McFly, Biff said, you never told me about the blind spot when he crashed Marty McFly's car. You never told me about the blind spot. Back to the Future #1. One of the best movies of all time. I watched that when I was 14. I hadn't started driving yet, so I didn't get the gist of what that joke was. Old Biff, man, that guy was always up to no good. That Biff. All right, so for me, quit my crappy old job. So I'm going to spend, I initially said I'll keep enough money in my 401k once I breach this amount that I know that I've lost, and I have to go back and find another gig. And I was very comfortable with that. My wife was very comfortable with it. Now, I will tell you, it's tough because your spouse, you need to have her stay, or him, on board initially, because if she's not or he's not, it's going to be a challenge, because she's always going to say, where's the money? And it takes time for the money to come in, I'm just telling you. And even today, and I love my wife, and she's very supportive, but she says, like, when I told her that I'm not taking on clients to focus solely on YouTube and book writing, she's like, whoa, I could tell she, not, she, like, it's fine, but she got nervous about that. Like, what do you mean you're not taking on clients? That's a short-term win financially. But the problem is, a short-term win financially is a long-term loss, simply because it takes me away my momentum of doing what I want, which is to get these books out and my YouTube videos and whatnot, the research I need to do for my books. And look, I love you as clients, everybody. No, please don't take this negative. But for me, I was like, man, I gotta focus. And if I'm anything is getting in the way of my focus is a net loss to me. There's no other way, even if the money was good, because I think in the long term it's going to pay off, and we shall see. So my wife was like, but at the end of the day, she knew, she trusts what I'm trying to do here. She knew that I've worked. I worked for 20 years up to this point, saved a lot of money, and we've done well financially because of our choices. So she knew that wasn't just going to one day wake up and start sniffing white powder up my nose. But it is a challenge. You got to make sure your significant other, if you have one, is on board for the long haul, because the first year is going to be tough. I can't remember, I think it's Miles Beckler, but I think he got it from Tony Robbins. He goes, you'll overestimate what you can do in the first year, but you'll underestimate what you can do in years 3 to 5. And man, you got to think like that. You got to think, okay, the first year, I'm probably not, and I said, I'm not going to, I told myself I'll be happy if I make $20,000. And that's basically $1,500 a month. I said, if I can make $20,000 in the first year, I'll be happy. And I made about $20,000 the first year, and I'm quite happy. And right now, I'm on my way to making a whole lot more than that this year. But we shall see. You don't know. I mean, any given month, it could change. You don't know what you could get demonetized from YouTube. You just don't know. But as we see here, the first 2 months of the year, I'm well above anywhere where I thought I would be for this year if I looked at my 3-year plan. It was $20,000 the first year, $50,000 the second year, and I'm not going to say I'm well above $50,000. But if you analyze what I made last month on YouTube alone, I am. And when I say well above, I'm not talking like that guy Graham Steppen or whatever. He says he's making $40,000 a month. That's not, trust me, that's not me. But basically, I made probably $60,000 analyzed on YouTube if we're to continue on. Which, man, that's well ahead of where I was hoping to be. That's not included book sales. My podcast is starting to generate some traffic. Amazon affiliate links too. So all that stuff right there, probably put me about $65,000. That includes YouTube, by the way. All that stuff includes YouTube. $65,000, which I said in the first year, if I could get $20,000, I'd be happy. The second, if I could get $50,000, I'd be happy. And then the third year, and that's all I did, I said $85,000. And for me, I needed about 120, roughly $10,000 a month is what I'm shooting for net, because I was making probably $150, I think, before taxes, before 401k. So I was bringing home probably $8,000, $9,000 a month, and I was putting a lot of money in my 401k. But we were paying taxes, so I was probably bringing home $9,000 a month. So I said, if I can do that within the first 3 years, get close to that, I'll be in a good place. And look, that's not chump change, man. $9,000 a month. I mean, that's $100,000 a year, my friends. Now, I do have a family of 6. I got 1 in college, 3 at home. We got braces, we got all kinds of stuff. And I'm not expecting I'll be there this year, but I just want to let you know that's what I was kind of competing on. I said, if within 3 years I could be within a spitting distance net, because that's all that matters, net of where I was, I'd be in a good place. And as I'm sitting here, the trajectory right now is for that, and I'm stoked for that. I don't know if it'll come to fruition. I have no idea, but you had to start, and it just, man, you get fired up, man. And I don't know what it is for you. It might be drawing. It might be doing, Celtic, going to these Celtic festivals, playing the bagpipes. I mean, I don't know what it is, but whatever it is you wake up in the morning thinking about, the first thing that you think about, man, just find a way to focus on that. And I bet you could turn that into an income producer. And that doesn't mean you're retired where you're just sitting around smoking cigars on the shuffleboard. I don't mean it like that. For me, quitting your crappy old job and retiring means just literally synonymous to just doing something you enjoy doing. That way you're not one of these 70% of people who hate their job. I just find that to be bad. You hate your job, I don't know what your health would be, but it can't be good if you're sitting in your car commuting all day long and you're just miserable and you can't wait to go home and sit in front of the TV to watch, 8 hours of football on the weekend. And then you're right back at it in your crappy old job. I mean, that's what I mean. What I mean by crappy old job, I mean by you find something that you want to do that hopefully can earn an income stream. And if you find something you love that you're dedicated to, I bet you can find a way to turn that into an income producer. I bet you can. And that's why I say on YouTube is wonderful. Look, YouTube has its problems. I get that. And one of these days, if I'm ever demonetized, that would be horrible. But YouTube is a way for anyone to get out there and say you can get around the corporate media, network TV of record companies and all that, and just you can do whatever you want. Some of the biggest videos on YouTube have nothing to do with financial planning. They have to do with things like knitting, gaming. I don't know anything about games, but there is an audience for almost anything that's out there. How to use Google Docs. If that's what, and there's a guy, and I don't think he's on the channel anymore. I think he got ticked off me with my anti-green energy thing. But he was from Florida. He used to talk about his love of Google Docs and Google Sheets and all that. There's an audience who, if you type in Google, how to do Google Sheets, there's an audience for that stuff. I'm telling you. Just go to Google, type in how to do Google Sheets, and you'll see, probably 10,000 search numbers a month. And that's 10,000 people who are searching for that topic specifically each and every month who don't know how to do Google Sheets or are looking for help. Why can't you be one of the people that can gather some of that 10,000 people a month traffic to your website, to your YouTube page, to your podcast, or ideally a combination of all three? Why? There's absolutely no reason you can't do that. You go on Amazon now, you can write a book, a Kindle book. And this is the problem with Amazon Kindle, is some of that stuff can be kind of trite, and you see some of these books, quote unquote, they're not very well produced. They're basically blog posts that people want to say they got a best-selling and vampire alien technology book, so they can say, I'm a bestseller. Some of that stuff's silly, but you can produce a book and get paid on Amazon Kindle, absolutely. You can absolutely do that, and it's not quite free, but it's pretty doggone close. You need an internet connection, you need to have a couple of things in terms of, but basically you don't need it probably costs less than $100 to get a book out there that you potentially could get paid for. And so that's what I mean when I say retirement and quitting your crappy old job. I do not mean them as you're separating from earning an income stream. I mean them that you're trying to do something that brings enjoyment to your life and hopefully financial rewards as well. And my inclination is the more you focus on something you'll have to do, because you'll do it more and more, the more likely it is that A, you're going to produce some content that is awesome, that people will pay you for in some capacity, and B, the more enjoyment you'll get because you just love doing it. You love it. You love doing, kite making with, spaghetti as a thing to hold it up. I don't know what it is. You love it. And you're like, I'm going to keep doing this. I enjoy it immensely. And you're probably going to be better than most other people who are doing that. And because that, the people who are into that niche of whatever you are into are going to look at you as a resource, as an expert, because you're so into it. and because you enjoy so much, it's a learning. It really is. It's addictive. And I think you'll do great things. Anyway, that's what I want to clarify. I hope that makes sense. So obviously, do the 4 S's: smash, subscribe, say, which again means comment, and then share. All right, we'll see you next time. Thanks now.